Well, this is part two of my little series on three-part series on how to define winning and how to win in a society where everything seems to turn into some kind of rivalry. Me against you, you against me, us against them against us. And and I ended the first episode with saying that our understanding of what winning is and how to win is really rooted in loving the person of Christ. And bear with me because this is going to explain what I meant by that. Most of my life, my understanding of loving Christ was like that described by 21st century theologian Michael Reeves, who wrote in his book, Delighting in the Trinity, that the love often thought about in relation to Christ is, quote, little better than my relationship with any traffic cop who chooses to let me off the hook for my law breaking. We might, as he said, feel deep gratitude for that kind of salvation, but that's not at all the same thing as love and love of the person of Christ. The former, the way I used to think of love, is for what Christ did for us. And what the Bible talks about, and Reeve is talking about, is the love of the person of Christ. It's the difference between a subjectively oriented understanding of Christ, what he did for me, versus an objective understanding of who the person of Christ is. And I'm going to come back to this in a little later, but my point is this. Our understanding of Christ's person will actually define winning and how to win. Now, I might say, if you're not a Christian, this will still apply to you for reasons that I'll explain later, but keep hanging with me. Now, this statement that Christ defines what winning is and how to go about it needs to also be put in a context. And the context is our understanding of how the world works, something I alluded to in the first video. It provides the foundation for our thoughts about what winning is and how to go about it. And how the world works, what makes it tick, what makes the world go round, as the song says, what moves the flow of persons in society from one period to the next, from one condition to the next, is called cosmology. The word itself refers to our knowledge, logia, and the cosmos. And specifically, cosmology is, well, how does the world work? How is it shaped? And how is it reshaped? Now, this kind of knowledge depends on what kind of thing we think the cosmos is. What's its essential nature, okay? But that's for another day. I want to stay focused on what it means to win and how you go about winning. So as I alluded earlier, a Christian view of law, which I've been covering on my Substack page for the last few months, you can go there if you'd like. It's senatorfowler94.substack.com, is to be understood in terms of what I called God's untold secret. It's the secret to God progressively articulated covenants with man, and that is the covenant between God the Father and God the Son. I'd never heard of that until a few years ago. The focus of the preaching that I had heard was focused on God's covenants with man, directed towards our salvation from hell. But this pre-creation covenant is made in eternity, not in the course of time. It's the covenant between the Father and the Son by the work of the Holy Spirit for the redemption of man, and more generally for what is called by Luke in Acts 3:21 the times of the restoration of all things. This is the counsel of God within the persons of the Trinity prior to creation that Paul said he taught to the people of Ephesus in the course of 2 years. You can find it in Acts chapter 20, and I think it's also in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 11. But with this pre-time, pre-creation covenant as background, Isaiah gives us a great visual image of how the world works covenantally over time, from creation through the consummating restoration. And that's what I'll cover in the next video. And we'll end with it and a better understanding of what winning is and how to go about winning. I hope you'll join me.